hello, hello. Okay, playing with my new devices. I want to share with you a deep philosophy. I really believe that I feel and know how pyramids were made. Stay with me. This is going to be deep. I got to paint the whole picture for you. I can't just say it's, tapping into galactic like Care Bear stare. I'll paint the picture for you. So stay with me. Subscribe if this resonates because I love thinking deep, and this is a deep one. We have to start slowing down and going back in time a little bit. I've spoke with many seniors and they talk about how, even 60, 70 years ago, they had to ride a horse for like 2 days to go and get some milk. It was every day doing what you needed to survive, similar to what we now represent as homeless in essence. But there was a connectedness to source, to creation. They didn't have these digital distractions. They had each other. There was a deep sense of connection. And the one senior shared stories with me about how when they wanted to build a house, like 14 families got together and cut down trees and put it, and by the end of the day, that family had a house. Can you imagine? And he talked about the respect and that gratefulness. That, can you imagine the gratitude of coming together at the end of the day, collecting your harvest with your hands from the soil, from the seed that you planted earlier, the gratification that would come from together. They'd sit at the table together and share their gratitude and love for each other amongst a meal that they harvested. That, getting connected. And so really, if we reflect on how society over the last 50, 60 years has done a dominant job of making sure that we become disconnected from each other, from all of those things, right? It's just instant gratification. They've destroyed our ability to want to put in any time or effort to have a reward. And there's nothing more gratifying. You have to think back even to just your simple childhood. Did you ever ride a bike? I bet you didn't hop on and just give her. It took some time, and you had to learn your balance and how to stay in motion in order to maintain that balance. All kinds of skills that took time, and somehow along the way they convinced us that at some point it was going to get routine and it would be easy, and that's not life. Life is ever changing, and so should we. So if all of that sacrifice and self-discipline and connectedness has fallen away, this is because, and I studied it in social work, they called it McDonaldization, where they sped us up. And I don't know if you've ever heard about the goldfish and the memory attention span it has. Yeah, it's about 5 seconds. It will forget that it ate, and it will continue to eat until it dies because it just doesn't have the conscious recollection that it's already sustained its needs. Hence, what they've done to us. They've got us in a position where we're doing the same thing. We feel in our heart that we want connection and we want this, but we won't even take the time. And this has really bothered me. I have really not wanted anything to do with technology. I only did this because the angels told me to. I had so many angel card readings and messages, and it just kept coming. Get online and share and share. I mean, I'm realizing now, because I have ideas and philosophies and perceptions that are completely outside of the box. I do not think like anybody else does. And that's okay, because I have an objective perception because I'm not influenced. I'm realizing that had I been keeping up with the technological trends, I'd be so much more influenced. and distracted from the reality of what they're doing. And so I just need to share, like, please, please, please recognize how they've got everyone so addicted to instant gratification. And that's what is making everyone start to feel like there's something mentally wrong with you. We have a body, mind, soul, spirit connection that needs to be in balance. It desires that, and we're born for that. And yet, we have this world today that has made us forget and has kept us so distracted. Please know, 7 to 21 times is all it takes for you to be influenced. Okay? And it's so on a subconscious level. I want to share this story with you. When I was starting to analyze, like, what is going on? How are people so persuaded? And I could see all these ads popping up, and whether you realize it or not, even if you think you're not consciously seeing it, you are. I had a friend and I said, have you ever bought something just because it popped up over and over again? And she said, you know what? There was this sweater, I hated it. And she said it was after about 7 to 21 times. She was a vulnerable moment. She's laying in bed scrolling. There it is again. And she went, well, you know what? I might like it. And she bought it. She got it and hated it like the first time. But it's such a perfect example. I was like, well, there's a real life statistic you just fulfilled for me that it's absolutely true. You've got to be so, so, so careful on what you're being influenced by. So here's where we're getting to the point where we could build pyramids if, can you imagine now, to get back to all these distractions, if we could turn off the screens, go back into nature, surrounded by loved ones, sharing each other's gifts and skills, even if it was for a week, that's 7 to 21 days. Imagine, what would we feel? What would we feel? And the key word here is feel, because with all of these distractions, we have stopped feeling things within the moment. So if we can also realize that there's no more instant gratification, that the best gifts we could give ourselves is the self-discipline to work towards bigger, better things for our best self, for our best future. Look at a tree. Look at a plant. You plant the seed and it doesn't just overnight bloom. That takes so long. And you walk through a forest and you see these magnificent trees. And we take for granted the time it took to become that majestic. And we can't become that majestic if we're never taking the time, and we're always just blah, 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 like, what the heck are we going to be if we're just a bunch of blah? I can't help but see it so clearly. So we really need to get back to the reality that we can connect and feel this divine energetic force and connection with each other, source, nature, and all things. And can you imagine, picture, if you can't, nothing else, maybe that did you ever see the aerial view of like Woodstock, where there were so many people? Here's what I picture. If back in the day there was none of this technology and they were all together, vibrationally connected, who's to say that, think about this now, all of them with the intention, and think about all the majestic new age they're saying, but it's ancient philosophy that's coming to the surface now of the things that you can do when you tap into this. What could they have created? Pyramids? Easily, through a vibrational, then you get source connected. And I've spoke to indigenous who have shared their ancient teachings and talk about the great mystery. I love how they say that. There's no better way. It's a great mystery. But if you tap in, they got divine messages through their dreams, through intuition, through the animals, through plants, through the stars, through the sky, through everything, water. And they talked about how it just came to them. Well, bet because they weren't staring at a screen that was distracting them from those visions. Now, imagine, again, I picture if there's billions of us, if all of us were connected on this level, tapping in to that. Wow. You think there wouldn't be a message, a sign, a guidance that it could, everything in this world blows my mind when you stop to think. It was created through someone's mind, but that mind was tapped into source, and that's how the idea came to them. Galactic, Care Bear stare style stuff that just can't necessarily be explained in words. Now, please keep in mind, listen to me objectively. If this is resonating with you, subscribe, because I talk deep like this all of the time. And I hope that it will help something within you wake up back. It's not even wake up, it's remember. You know all of this. We all know all of this. It's within us. It's ancient. It's about remembering, coming back to that realization that we're so much more than meets the eye. So, how can this happen? It would take everyone, please, even just for one day, no scrolling, turn everything off and just allow your own frequency, your own thoughts, your own everything to come back. Tap back into everything that you are without all of the influences of everything telling you what you're supposed to be. There's no script. It's your divine journey. You have a fingerprint that no one else has. Think about that. That's a fact. You have a fingerprint that no one else will ever have. No one was born before you with it. No one will be born after you with it. Yours. You alone are this divine print. Don't you think there's nothing better to do than just be you? This is it. And letting go of the script, letting go of the distractions, let go of scrolling, let go. If we could just all come together back to nature, tapping back into source, there is nothing that can stop us. We can start to get back connected to those visions, those ideas. They're happening all of the time, whether you're even conscious of it or not. I'm sure you're having a shower one day and you have this awesome idea and you're like, that's awesome. But like, you might talk yourself out of it immediately going, well, that's not possible. So on with your habit hamster wheel you go. But if we can all start to kind of break that mold, tap back in, even just you yourself having that moment of realization and going, I'm in to hang on to this frequency and this vibration now. And we know there's power in prayers. So even just sending out that vibration of like, oh, I hope that everybody just kind of wakes up and turns things off and taps back in. And if we all have that vibration, we got it. We're already doing it. We're going to start getting the ideas of how to build those pyramids again. See you at the tip-top tippy. This is awesome. It's so magical. And it really does start with connection. Please, please, please start to have real connections. If you have an opportunity to sit with somebody and talk, don't let that phone bling and distract you. Stay connected. Look into each other's eyes. Feel each other's frequencies. It's really what it's all about. Getting back to that. Because this is where I think everything is going to change. It's what we all desire. So I hope that something I shared with you today resonated, and that you can actually feel the ability that we all have to feel this frequency that can change the world. It's what it's all about. And from there, we will build pyramids. Woo! Or whatever we want. This is awesome. Much love to everyone as we rise. Don't give up the good vibes. Much love.